everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Fashion Grunge Podcast. I am your host, Lauren.
I'm Charles.
What's up? I'm so excited. Today, we are going to be talking about the amazing quintessential female buddy road film, Thelma Louise from 1991, directed by Ridley Scott.
Fuck yeah.
Fuck yes. I was watching this movie today. I mean, I've seen it a few times, but I was watching it earlier today and I texted Charles and I was like, this is kind of exactly what I would do. Like, I mean, not necessarily like the other things, but they didn't kill anyone except for that guy who was raping Thelma.
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't kill like loads of people. It's not like they were like Bonnie and Clyde.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it wasn't that bad, but I love this film.
Yeah, I kind of feel like if we were in the situation, you would be Louise and I would be Thelma.
I was going to say, I'm such a Louise. And I was like, I bet you Charles would totally be Thelma. That was one of my questions. Was like, are you a Thelma or are you a Louise? This is going to be, I'm going to take a note of this. This is going to be a poll question when I post the episode is like, if you've seen Thelma, like Thelma and Louise, are you a Thelma or are you a Louise? So I'm going to write that down. That's so funny. Yeah, because when you think about it, like, it's funny how Louise is the one who actually shoots the guy in like the parking lot. Mm-hmm. And she's the one that actually's like done something like, you know, fucking crazy. Like she could just go to jail forever. And Thelma is just like literally like another person. Like she's like freewheeling and then she's just like, I robbed a store. And then I put the cop in the fucking trunk. Like, she's like going for it. Like, all of a sudden, she's just like, I was like, whoa, Louise was supposed to be like the oh shit, you know? And she was like, Thelma was really scared in the beginning. Like, oh my God, like, what's going to happen? And then it just like switches and she's picking up hot drifters. And like, it's just like, I was like, whoa, she's just like off the rails. But it's
I mean, her character's transformation in this movie is just like so cool.
Yeah, and her outfits too.
Yeah,
like as she goes from like when she leaves the house, she has that white dress on.
Yeah,
and it's and then it goes to like.
And you know, it's weird because in the beginning of the movie, she's like really girly, you know, and you know, just kind of, you know, I guess like a little naive, you know, and she transforms so quickly.
Yeah, like so fast. She got that that I don't know what euphemism I'm gonna use, but like she got that pipe clean by a fucking drifter, and she was like not to jump ahead too much, we'll get into it, but one of my favorite scenes is like the morning after when she busts into the diner, in front of Louise, and Louise is like sitting there, and then she's like, "Oh my God, Louise!" and she's like freaking out. And she's like, "Congratulations! I'm so glad you're finally with the rest of us." And she's like, "I don't know what happened. I just don't know what happened." I was like, "She's wearing a shirt and she's about to commit a crime in 30 minutes." Like she's like, "Fuck it."
Thelma, my guess is you're either crazy or you're on drugs. Well, I'm not on drugs, so I must be crazy.
I know. It's like, oh my God. I was like, God damn it. This is so cool. But yeah, we'll get further into it. But I was talking to Charles about like, I was like, oh, what have you been up to? Because I know I haven't seen you in forever. And I'm finally going to do like a socially distanced picnic something tomorrow. I haven't seen Charles since like March. So I'm excited.
I think the last time we might have hung out was when we went to go to Mike's house in February.
Fuck, was it February?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
I haven't seen Mike either. Yeah, whenever the last time you saw him was last time I saw him.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
No.
It's the whole fucking world. Anyway, but you were talking about your eye doctor. You had to go to the eye doctor.
Yeah, so I had to go into the office for something earlier this week.
And are people in your office, or is it like a skeleton crew?
It's like a very light skeleton crew. I think there's maybe like 4 or 5 people that go there each day, and then I think there's like and I think there's more people that just go in like a couple times a week.
Oh, okay.
But I had to print off some tax stuff, and so I got that done. And then I was on the Metro platform and I was cleaning my glasses and they like snapped. So I was like, well, that's not good. So I came home and I have a backup pair of glasses, but they like don't sit on my face very well. So they kept like sliding down and So then I was like, I love these glasses, but they just aren't working for me. So then I have a backup pair.
Oh my God.
Um,
You have a second backup.
and so these are like the glasses that I wore like maybe like 15 years ago when I was in college. So they work in the sense that I can like see objects, but everything's just a little blurry.
So your eyes have gotten worse, like since college?
Oh yeah. So I was like, I'm gonna have to go see the eye doctor, and so I had an appointment with the eye doctor on Thursday, and it was like so exciting to leave the house and get in a lift, and my doctor was this really cute guy from Pakistan, and
I also have like a not unattractive eye doctor. Like I don't want to say he's hot, but he's like kind of hot.
Yeah. So I have a new pair of glasses. I'm kind of excited about that.
Nice.
And then,
how was your Lyft driver? Did you like get into any conversations? Like, are people talking to people? Like, what's it like? I just go to the grocery store. I only talk to the cashier. Like, that's the only person I talk to.
Yeah, he seemed nice. Like, I usually like to talk for the first few minutes, and then after a certain point, I'm just like, okay, I'm done.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Like it depends on the mood I'm in, but I usually get in and I say, hey, how's it going? Yeah. And if they're like, okay, and then I'm like, okay. And then I can tell that they don't want to talk. And then sometimes I'm like, hey, how's your day been? And then if they're like, oh, it was good, blah, 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 and they talk a little bit, then I'm like, okay. But if they usually I just say like, cool, thanks, and I like put headphones on.
Yeah,
like what do you expect? I mean, I don't want to talk all the time.
Yeah, I mean, I usually take out my phone after a few minutes, and we talk. Yeah, after that, I'm just like, all right, your tip just went down.
Oh, no. Now they have that thing where, or at least they did, I know Uber was doing it, where like you put a switch on and it means like silent ride.
Oh.
Like, and actually, I think it's for people who like are working, like what if they're, which is kind of crazy, but yeah. I guess if people who are like on the computer or maybe they're like doing other stuff, but yeah, they have like a switch, I guess, because people like complained, I'm sure, like people talking to them and not, it's almost like being on a plane. Yeah. It's like really hard to say like, hey, I don't want to talk anymore. Yeah. Like I'm done talking now. Goodbye. Like it's hard to do in real life. You know, it's hard to like hang up on someone in real life and be like, yeah, okay, bye. And you're like still there. It's just kind of strange. But that's cool.
Yeah. And then after my appointment, it was very exciting because I went to like an actual Chipotle and you can't like eat there, but I got stuff to go. So
and then you like were made a fool of in your room inhaling.
Yeah, I'm just glad there weren't any witnesses.
Oh, Chipotle. Oh God. It's like people still, I mean, I think even after they had that big scandal about food poisoning, like I think I've still been a fair amount of times.
I mean, I didn't get sick.
Yeah, it's like I've definitely eaten like Taco Bell more than once and gotten sick way more than once. So it definitely does not deter me at all. I'm like, I don't care. But that's so crazy. Well, okay, let's talk about Thelma and Louise. When's the first time you saw this? Like, what's your first impression?
So this is the plot of this movie is sort of spoofed in an episode of The Simpsons. And it's I forget it's like season 5, I want to say. And it's the plot is like Marge and her next door neighbor go out for a girls' night, and they end up kind of getting in a like the like car that they're in ends up being stolen, so they go on like a high-speed chase with the police. And
oh my God, I need to watch this immediately.
Yeah, and so
Marge on the Lam.
Yeah,
season 5, episode 6.
Yeah, that's it.
Cool.
And so then shortly after that, my dad got me my own like card to Hollywood Video. And Hollywood Video when it came out was like changed my world, because you could rent movies for up to 5 days, and like the rentals only cost $1.99.
I was gonna say they were $1.99.
And so that basically meant Blockbuster can go fuck themselves. And so
Blockbuster could always go fuck themselves. Like, on the real, I was not mad when Blockbuster shut down, because Hollywood Video and Potomac Video in like the DC area when we grew up, those were the two places. Like,
yeah,
like Hollywood Video had everything Blockbuster had, like the big movies, but then Potomac had all of the dope indies. Like, that's where I saw like Larry Clark's Kids and like Greg Araki films. Like, that was like the place you would go to get like really good indie stuff.
Yeah, no, it was great. And so I'm pretty sure that I rented this movie at some point, and like going to the video store was kind of like my thing. That's like kind of like how I like to spend my time.
Yeah.
And so I'm pretty sure I rented this movie at some point. I watched it and I loved it, and I like I don't think I owned it for a while, but once I did like own the actual VHS tape, I think I like watched it so much it started to like become a problem.
Oh my god, no way.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Now, when you were the age that you saw it in, like, were you in high school, or was it earlier than that?
Yeah, I want to say it was 8th or 9th grade.
Okay, yeah, so you were like 14?
Yeah.
Like 13, 14? Now, we were just talking about, like, who would you be, like, who were you, like, Thelma or Louise? Like, did you identify as a Thelma when you watched it, or did you identify as Louise?
I was totally a Thelma.
Like, when you watched it the first time?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm totally a Louise. I would totally do everything that Louise did.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know that I would do everything Thelma did, but I would totally do everything Louise did. Like, it's so crazy. I mean, in theory, allegedly, hypothetically, like, this would all be like a case by case basis. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Let's see. I saw the movie, I think I was in college. Like, it was a little bit later, I think. I didn't see it, obviously, like, came out in 91. We weren't even 10 yet. So I obviously didn't see it when it was out. But I saw it and I was like, oh, cool. I've been hearing so much about it. There's definitely so many It's like one of those films that's referenced a lot. Mm-hmm. That now when you've seen it and you know kind of what happens and everything, like, you see that them driving over the cliff and like holding hands like that. They use that kind of shot a lot, like even when they parody it or stuff like that, like, and other stuff. So it's super impactful. I mean, now that I'm watching it, I haven't seen it in so long. And now that I'm watching it, we've done a few episodes of some Brad Pitt films, which thank God for this casting snafu that put Brad Pitt in this film, which we'll get to. Yeah. But like, I mean, could you imagine if Brad Pitt wasn't in this? Like, this essentially launched his entire career.
I know. And like apparently every single person like in all of Hollywood tried out for this role.
Yeah.
I mean, like, everyone.
And they went and everyone like ended up dropping out, and they were kind of just like, ugh, I guess let's get that guy.
Yeah.
Like, I guess let's get Brad motherfucking Pitt. Like, who could literally carry, like, who probably in the next year ended up starring in, actually, no. I think he probably didn't star until, like, 94 in Interview with the Vampire, when he was, like, somewhat supporting, as when we first, that and Legends of the Fall. Yeah. Those are, like, the first two films, I think, where it was like, oh, okay, he's more than a supporting character. He's, like, you know, he's going to be, like, a big deal.
I don't know when it came out, but I also like watched the movie California recently for the first time.
Dude, 92.
I like really liked it.
Yeah, and there's also a really great what do you call it? TV movie called Too Young to Die. Okay, California was 93. Okay. And that's the one with that's the one with Juliette Lewis, right?
Is it David Duchovny's in it too, right?
Yeah, and Juliette Lewis, yeah. And I think Too Young to Die also has, wait, that's 1990. That also has Juliette Lewis in it.
Oh, cool.
Oh, that's even earlier. Wow, that's even before Thelma Louise. So he'd already been in, like, and he's like in a, you know, he has a big role in it, but it's like a TV movie. Like, it wasn't one that was like in the theater or anything. Crazy. Oh, that's so cool. Yeah, so what's your behind the scenes notes that you got? I'll let you take over.
So, apparently the pre-production for this movie was fairly long. And when the writer was writing the screenplay, she in her mind she had Thelma and Louise being played by Holly Hunter and Frances McDormand.
Okay, now that would have also been dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do like both of those women.
Apparently at some point Meryl Streep and Goldie Hawn were cast.
Another one that I would not have minded.
And then this is the one I really want to see. And then the third pair that they considered was Michelle Pfeiffer and Jodie Foster.
Dude.
Like,
okay, well, so would Michelle Pfeiffer be? Do you know who for each role?
I don't.
I'm assuming Michelle Pfeiffer would totally be Thelma.
Yeah,
and Jodie Foster would be Louise, right?
Yeah, that would be my guess. I think Meryl would probably be the Louise, and Goldie Hawn would be Thelma. Although,
that's very obvious, though. They might do it the other way.
But I mean, I don't know. But apparently, Gina Davis said in an interview that she had been cast as the role of Louise for a fairly long time, and then once Susan Sarandon came on, she like switched roles. So it kind of seemed like the behind the scenes stuff was like a little like chaotic.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's such a departure to be cast as Louise.
Yeah.
And then to like completely switch and then be like, oh crap, I have to be Thelma now. She's completely unhinged.
Yeah.
Like, and Louise is so like she has it all together, you know?
Mm-hmm. And then apparently so these are the people who were strongly considered for the role of JD eventually played by Brad Pitt.
Oh yeah, who?
Alec Baldwin, George Clooney, Mark Ruffalo, Robert Downey Jr., Christian Slater, Billy Baldwin, Johnny Depp, Tom Cruise, Scott Baio, Sean Penn, and Kevin Bacon.
What? Okay, out of that list, who would your top 3 be that are not that's not Brad Pitt? Those are massive stars in like 91 or less. Okay, first of all, I have a problem with Tom Cruise because he was in like Rain Man and leading shit in the 80s. So unless he was doing that as like, I just want to be this cameo, like I don't want to be I just feel like they would put him to star. Like he would be like a bigger person if they were to get him. Yeah, but maybe that's before it was actually done because this movie is like, wasn't it written in like the 80s? So maybe they thought about him when he was like in the 80s or something. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Who are would your top 3 be out of that list?
My top 3. I've always had a soft spot in my heart for Billy Baldwin. So
he's a good looking guy.
He is. You know, his acting, whatever.
Wasn't he in Gossip Girl?
Yeah. He was.
He was like Serena's dad.
So I'm going to go with Billy Baldwin, Johnny Depp, and Christian Slater.
Okay, Christian Slater is my number 1.
Yeah.
When I heard Christian Slater, I was like, he has this personality. Mm-hmm. This kind of like unhinged, like hot thing going on.
Yeah.
And like kind of bad at the same time. I'm trying to think. Alec, definitely not.
Yeah.
Billy, yes, I could see him in the running. Okay, Johnny Depp. Okay, this is, let's say like 80s Johnny Depp. But the thing about Johnny Depp, which I find so crazy, Fear and Loathing is going to be coming out. Then like you will already have heard it, the episode, or like it's already going to be up. But we talked about Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, and the one interesting thing about Johnny Depp, I think he's so fucking hot. But there's something about him that doesn't read like crazy amounts of sexual energy. Mm-hmm. Like he has a different vibe. It's not that I don't find him like incredibly attractive, but it's just different from Brad Pitt. Yeah. Like Brad Pitt has that like rip your shirt off, like banging some girl around, but like Johnny Depp doesn't. He has like it's just a different vibe. It's just that like, if he was a drifter on the side of the road, he wouldn't be like a Brad Pitt type. I feel like he would just be a little bit like, I don't know. I would just play it completely differently.
Yeah, I think it would be interesting to see Sean Penn in this role, just because all the characters seem slightly like kind of unhinged.
Yeah, he's a little weird.
Yeah,
he's definitely a little weird. Although, did you see that Fast Times read through?
No.
They had? Oh my god! All these people got together, like all these actors got together for charity and did like a Fast Times at Ridgemont High like table read, but they did it on Zoom. and it was
Okay.
for
Cool.
some charity. Yeah, and it was like Brad Pitt was Brad, like the brother, who works at all those fast food places, and Shia LaBeouf was Jeff Spicoli, and it was so amazing because he was like stoned the whole time and like really reading into it. But like Matthew McConaughey was in it, and apparently I just read today, which I am so excited about, that on October 11th, which I don't know when this is going to come out, so I don't know when you'll hear this, but October 11th they're doing a read through of all the original cast of Dazed and Confused.
Oh my
like
God.
a table where they're all coming back. I think it's going to be on YouTube or something, but you can just Google it. It'll probably be out by the time that this goes up. But yeah, they're doing a read through of the film to get people inspired to vote in Texas. Like that's what it's for, because
Cool.
Texas is pulling some fuck shit with the election. So they're trying to get people out to vote. So I was like, oh my God, I can't wait, because they're all going to be in it. Like McConaughey, Ben Affleck, like all these people that are just so massive now. So that's really interesting. I'm excited for that.
Oh, that's so neat.
Yeah, they're probably going to keep doing it, because if people are still like kind of stuck in this weird limbo with filming, like they're all doing it on Zoom, so why not?
Yeah.
It's like easy enough to do, so that's cool. Yeah, okay, so keep going.
Okay.
I don't think I picked a third person, but those would be my two. It would be Christian Slater. Actually, Christian Slater, maybe like Billy Baldwin, yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay, so this movie was nominated for 6 Academy Awards.
That's a lot.
And it won 1 award for Best Original Screenplay.
It has a good screenplay.
It did come out did come out the same year as Silence of the Lambs. So so this was kind of a tough year. It was nominated for like everything except for Best Picture.
So Ridley Scott got a nomination?
Yeah, the Ridley Scott was nominated for Best Director, and Susan Sarandon and Gina Davis were both nominated for Best Actress.
That's a pretty big lead, right?
Yeah.
Now, that's one of few films. Charles is kind of like a side note. Charles is kind of like an Oscars historian, or like a lexicon, I guess you could say. So haven't been many films where there have been 2 actors nominated for lead in the same category for the same film, right?
So there
only a few.
So there have been 4 films in which 2 actresses have both been nominated for Best Actress for the same movie. The first one was All About Eve, which Anne Baxter and Bette Davis were nominated. The second one was Suddenly Last Summer, when Elizabeth Taylor and Katharine Hepburn were nominated. And the third one is Terms of Endearment with Shirley MacLaine and Deborah Winger. And
then this is the fourth one.
Yeah. And
there
has not been a film since. So
Now have there ever been for the actor category, for lead actor?
Yes. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I know that both of F. Murray Abraham and Tom Hulce.
Oh, and Tom Hulce for Amadeus.
Yeah.
The movie's so good.
Oh, I know.
If anyone at all is interested in Amadeus, like, I don't know if it's topical that we'll review here. It's from 1980, but it's so great.
Yeah,
like it's you wouldn't think you would like it. I feel like I thought it was going to be like kind of dry and like a period film, and I was like, oh, okay, it's about Mozart's life, but it's actually really comical and like very smart, and it's fairly interesting and great music, obviously.
Yeah, and also just like the script is done so well.
Yeah, it's great.
And like some of the descriptions in that movie about music are just some of the most beautiful, adjectives I've like heard about like music in general. It's just like done so well.
Yeah, it really is.
Okay, and then my final piece of trivia is that Michael Madsen and Christopher McDonald. Michael Madsen played Jimmy in this movie, and Christopher McDonald played Thelma's husband, and was also the father in The Faculty.
And also the father in SLC Punk.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm, yeah, he's Steve-O's dad.
He okay, so I hate his characters, but the fact that he provokes such a strong emotion means that he's a pretty good actor, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, so they were both offered the role of Harlan, who was the rapist.
Mm-hmm.
And then I guess they switched up at the last minute.
Oh, no way. No, wait, what I read was that Michael Madsen, oh, is that all you have? Because I have another tidbit to add. Okay, so Michael Madsen was asked to, yes, be the rapist, and he was kind of like uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why he went with, like, he got Jimmy. And also, there was Gina Davis used to date Christopher, what's his name? The one that I was just saying that was in the faculty.
Christopher McDonald.
McDonald, that's his name. She used to date him, and that was her ex-boyfriend, and she insisted that he play that role.
Oh, really?
Which is like really fucking funny, because now it just is so funny the way they were acting in the beginning.
Yeah.
She's probably just like, God, fucking damn it. Like, I hate this guy. I'm not even with him anymore. So, yeah, that's super funny. What are there some other female buddy road films? That's what it was described on Wikipedia. Like, the first thing is, it's like, Thelma Louise is a 1991 American female buddy road film. And I was like, is that like, I know it's a road film, and like female buddy is like a new term. I guess like female relationships, but I'm trying to think, is there another road film? There's two women?
I'm sure there are. I can't think of any off the top of my head.
Yeah, I mean, aside from another great road film, which has almost women, Drag Queens, Adventures of Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, fucking iconic. If you haven't seen that or interested, it's amazing. But yeah, I'm just trying to think of like.
There was that movie Boys on the Side with Barrymore and Whoopi Goldberg.
Yeah, I remember that. But yeah, I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
I mean, I think this movie kind of created a new genre.
So, yeah, and I'm surprised that it got. I'm surprised it got made, which I think it had some issues, but I'm surprised it got made because I think a lot of critics that I was reading, they were kind of like, they thought it was like male bashing, and like it was very much like men are the problem, like very like pro, like not feminist as in feminist like the traditional sense, like very much like anti-man. Like I think that's what a lot of critics said. Like different. Critics.
I don't think these characters were anti-men. I think they were anti-assholes.
Yeah, I was gonna say like I think it was pretty much justified.
Yeah, I agree.
Except for which is funny because except for Louise mentioning that, like, she's like, it's one thing that we're on the run and, you know, we killed that guy in self-defense, even though they're not going to know that. But, and then I think Thelma was like, it's not self-defense. He was walking away. Like, we could have just turned around and left, but we like shot him or she shot him. And then she's just like, but I can't justify robbery. There's no such thing as justifiable robbery because a fucking hot ass drifter like robbed you like the day before. Like there's no, I can't use that as a defense for why he did that, which is really funny. Yeah, cool. All right, you want to get into the story here?
Yeah.
I just have a few notes. I'm trying to shorten things up so I'm not like just telling the whole fucking film here. So when we open, we kind of meet these two women. So I have Thelma married to a regional manager of a carpet store.
I was like, ooh, he's big time.
Big time. I wrote mean husband. She's a housewife. How does he have a Corvette?
I mean, maybe I'm naive. Maybe the world of carpeting is a lot more lucrative than I give it credit for.
Yeah, maybe. He's just fucking awful. And yeah, I love how throughout the film, when he kind of finds out that his wife is like a fucking like fugitive, like he just is just like, what? Like, oh my God. And I love how when he's like, when they finally call like the house and then he's like, hi. And then she's like, hangs up and she's like, he knows. And then you're like, how do you know? It's like, you just know he would never be like, hi. Like he's just like such an asshole all the time. And then I wrote, then we flip to Louise, like they're both on the phone. So we kind of meet them. She's this waitress at this diner. They're going to go on a road trip fishing. And I love how they're going to a cabin that her boss is getting divorced, and before the divorce the wife's getting the cabin. So before this transfer happens, he's inviting like everyone to just kind of like fuck this cabin up before he has to give the keys to his ex-wife, which I was like, that's really funny. And then I also find it funny that like Thelma didn't tell her husband.
Yeah.
That she just like is like, I'm leaving because like he would never let her go. Like he just is just fucking crazy. And then they're like driving. I'm like, oh, this is so cool. So they're in Arkansas, which I didn't know they were in Arkansas at first. I think later on they say Arkansas. So she's like driving in Arkansas, and they're like, and you find out that Thelma is like very caged and very sheltered, and she's like, I'm so excited to get out. I've never left town. Like I don't have the opportunity. She's just been with this guy for most of her adult life, so she's like, I don't travel anywhere. I'm so excited. And they're like, oh, let's go stop at like one of those road places. Like I want to get a drink. I want to like do this. And Louise is very much like me, like, oh, no, this is not going to be a good idea. And, you know, obviously Thelma's just like, come on, let's go. I was going to say I've driven across the country, and I was very much a Thelma on that trip. I was not the Louise, and my buddy Chris was the Louise. And I wanted to stop in like the shadiest, most sketchy looking hotels to stay overnight. Like we would drive through Texas or like Mississippi or somewhere. And he's like, we're not fucking staying in that place. We're staying at like a Holiday Inn or a Best Western. Like we're staying somewhere that people know, and they change the sheets and they're like working showers. Like we're not staying in this like fucking horror movie. And I'm like, come on, this is so cool. They only have this shit out west. And he was like, yeah, and look at all this field for them to just leave you in. Like, no, we're not doing this. Your whole car is packed with all your shit. And I was like, this sucks. So I do really want to go on a road trip. I guess post-corona, because I don't know about like sleeping in a fucking hotel room now. I mean, who fucking knows? But I was going to say I don't really have any interesting road trip stories because we basically just ate and I drove for like 13 hours a day. So I didn't really do anything like crazy like this. But do you have any road stories? Like I know, like have you had anything weird ever happen to you on the road? Like on a road trip?
Weird? No. A while ago I was driving down to, or I was going down to North Carolina to a friend's wedding, and she had asked her, my friend had asked her friend if she could give me a ride. And this is a person who I went to college with, and I knew well enough to say hi, but we just never really like been like friends. So the prospect of spending a car, like 5 to 6 hours in a car with this person was like a little intimidating. And but I was like, so it was a little awkward for like the first like hour or two, but then we just started talking, and
oh, that's cool.
Then she was just like, oh, we have to stop at this bagel place in Charlottesville. And I was like, great, that sounds fun. And like in my head, I was like, oh God, why? Then we stopped at this bagel place, and it was like the most amazing bagels I'd ever had in my life. And
no way, in Charlottesville?
Yeah. And at that point I was just like, I'm going to just let her take charge. So
me and Charles are both Tauruses, and apparently food is like our complete love language. So like I could hate you, but like if you get into a really bad fight with anyone, like if you give me my favorite food, like we're good.
Yeah. And so, so we like kind of like, we kind of became like closer throughout the weekend. And like, by the time we were driving back, we were like finishing each other's sentences, and, it was
like, Thelma Louise.
I'd just be like, hey, Lee, I'm going to have a cigarette. Do you want one? She was like, oh, yes. And so, I'd like light up two and hand one to her. And so,
cool.
It wasn't like crazy, but it was just kind of a nice experience. So
yeah, that's cool. I don't think I have anything. I don't have any like really crazy story. Like we did meet a few random people on the way, like just driving. But yeah, I mean, I've spent a lot of time on the road just in general. So I love road trips. I love to drive.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, and I like love all the I like love when like Louise stops by Thelma's house and they're loading stuff in the car, and they're just like so excited, and that seems to really captures like when a road trip is about to begin.
That's true.
Like there's just, like, so many possibilities. you know? And so
that is so true. Like, right when you know, like, and usually it's almost like when you have to travel somewhere on a plane, like you almost like can't sleep the night before.
Yeah.
Because you know it's gonna be like, oh, we're gonna see things we've never seen, or you just get to see the landscape, you know, the sunset and like all this, you know, it's just really cool to be able to look out the window. It's really, really neat. Yeah, I love it. The road is awesome. It's probably even more popular now that travel is kind of restricted. I think a lot of people have been going out this summer, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So they stop at like this pool hall / like honky tonk, I guess you could say.
Yeah, and I'd say that it is worth noting that the name of this place is the Silver Bullet.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Ooh, good catch.
Yeah.
Foreshadowing. So I was like, they really like, you can tell that Thelma's like already letting her hair down. Like she's already like, she's the one that wanted to go. She's like, come on. So they like, I love how like I think Thelma gets like a wild turkey shot and like a Coke.
Yeah.
Like a Coke chaser. And at first Louise is like, no, I'm not going to have a drink. And then she's like, no, hell, I'm going to have a margarita. And then like a Cuervo shot or something. Like I was like, oh shit, all right.
Yeah.
Like,
and can I have to say their waitress is like awesome. Like
I love her.
No, she's like so great. Like you can tell she has her shit together. She is on top of it.
Let me tell you about this one show, and then I will. There's a show on Showtime called Love Fraud. It's a documentary series. It's like 4 episodes. Anyway, long story short, this guy's been like scamming women all over Kansas City and like somewhere else, like I think other parts of Missouri or whatever. So he's been scamming all these women, like fake marriages, taking all their money and then like going somewhere else. Anyway, there's this woman that these women all get together and find out that he's pulling the scam. It's this bounty hunter. Who is like, she must be in her 60s and she's like the toughest fucking bitch ever.
Oh, wow.
And she needs a goddamn show because she like chain smokes and she works out of like Tennessee, I want to say. And she's just like tells all these crazy like Southern stories about like when she was with this man who like beat her up. And then she's like, then in the morning I woke up and I like grabbed my shotgun. And then I was just like, you know, this was never going to happen to me again. And I left him. And now and then she said that she was working at this like, funny story. She was working in a bar after she left this guy and like someone saw her like break up a fight. Like she climbed across the bar and started punching this dude who was hitting on this girl.
Oh my God.
And she was like literally in a fight with this guy in this bar. And then someone went up to her and was like, have you ever thought about being a bounty hunter? They're like, you know how to handle yourself. And she's like, yeah, I do. And like, you know how to shoot a gun? She's like, yeah. And they're like, you ever thought about being a bounty hunter? And she's like, and here I am like 35 years later. And I was like, this woman needs a fucking show. Screw that other one. Like she was so interesting and cool. But she reminds me of this bartender. Like bartenders out in like those truck stop bars or like those like really big like country bars. Like if there's a woman who works in one of those, like she's seen some shit. Like it's crazy. Yeah, she is really awesome. I do love her. So they meet this guy who comes to their table who's like so pushy and like fucking awful. And
oh God, and you can tell like in his mind he's like, oh, they're gonna think I'm so charming.
I know.
Like
it's so funny.
Do you guys like chili? They've got good chili here.
I love how he sounds like this old British man. Do you guys like chili? It's really funny. He's fucking awful, and you can tell like this guy's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And I love how like Thelma's totally like, oh my God, like you're really cool, you're really nice. Because like no guy's ever, you know, show her any affection, even her own husband. So she's like, oh my God, so cool. And Louise is so funny. She's like, I need to tell my friend something. Can you go? Like, and he's like, okay, well, you know, I'm just gonna be out on the dance floor. So then they're dancing, blah blah blah. He like spins her around all those times, and then she's like tanked, totally drinking all this crazy shit, and she's like, oh my God, I'm dizzy. Goes out to the fucking parking lot. She's like, I need some air, and he like takes her out there. And this fucking like attempted rape scene is pretty violent, or like very disturbing for 91.
Yeah, well,
I'm surprised.
Like, I mean, one of the things that I guess struck me is like how quickly this situation turns. Like, it just like happens so fast that like I don't think Thelma like knew how to react, and like your brain, I imagine, is just like, what's happening?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Especially when he hits her.
Yeah.
I think he like hits her once and she's kind of like, what? And then I think then when she hits him back, then he like really hits her.
Yeah.
And that's what, it turns. Like,
and my guess is he's definitely done this before.
Oh,
so,
totally.
I mean,
totally. So then she's like literally like being raped, and Louise, thank God, was like in the bathroom, and then she like runs out to like find her, and then she sees him, and then she has this gun that Thelma brought with her because they just have a gun in their house, and she's like, whatever, I just brought my gun with me. So she like has it with her, which I'm really surprised too that Thelma didn't have her own gun.
Yeah.
I thought she would have had it herself. And, she, I thought maybe the gun would have been in her bag. And then when he's like doing all that, she was going to like shoot him, like right in the crotch or something.
Oh, well, Thelma gave it to Louise just before they got on the road. So,
okay. So did they put in like the glove box?
I think she
put it.
I think she put it in her purse.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I guess Louise definitely would be the more level-headed one to have the gun. So like, thank God. But because he could have stolen it from her.
Yeah.
Like if she did have it and he found it or whatever. So then she comes and saves the day, and then they're like walking away. They've essentially almost like gotten away. Like he's just yelling and screaming at them like, fuck you, you fucking bitch, like blah, blah, blah. And then he's just like, I should have fucked her. And then she's like, what'd you fucking say? And then he's like, you heard me, blah, blah, blah. And just starts like mouthing off and being a fucking total douchebag. And that's when she's like, boom, like straight through the heart, like one shot. And then they're just like, oh my God. And like fucking run out of there. But like, come on, that dude, if anyone fucking deserved it, I mean, it was really like rough. And she was so beyond lucky that Louise got there.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, like the timing was just like so crazy. I was like, oh my God. So then I was like, she shot the rapist. That's what I wrote. I wrote, oh my God, they're on the run and on the road now.
Yeah.
So now they're like fucking running around. And then I said like, then they circle back to like, they're just like panicking, just driving. And she's like, where are we going? Where are we going? She's like, I don't know. I'm just like trying to get out of here. So then that's when you flash like the cops and you first see the Arkansas State Police, which is Harvey Keitel. Mm-hmm. And he's like the lead on this state police case. And that's when they interview the cocktail waitress. And they're like, did you see who did it? And she's like, no, I could pick him out of the lineup, but I don't even care. I'm glad that someone shot him. I wish it was his wife. And I was like, oh my God. She's like seen some shit.
Neither one of those two is the murdering type, Hal. And and then he's like, and what makes you an expert on human nature? And she's like, oh, please. If being a waitress doesn't make you an expert on human nature, nothing will.
Amen. Like, she needs a spinoff.
Yeah.
I would be excited to just see like a whole movie on like her daily shift at work, like from beginning to end, because it's probably like some shit. It feels like it's like one of those like, I don't even know. I can't even think of like a film. Like it almost feels like she works in that diner in Natural Born Killers. The one that's like out in the middle of nowhere in like the very beginning.
Yeah, and
it's like almost like what she feels.
And like. She has like three jobs, and she probably has like two or three children, and they're like poor, but she refuses to let her children know that they're poor. And so I don't know.
And they're like badass.
Yeah. And
yeah, it's super cool.
I don't know. She just seems like she was just delightful.
She was so great.
Yeah.
And then Louise calls Jimmy. Jimmy is Michael Madsen, who's like her on again, off again musician boyfriend. Mm-hmm. And she's like, hey, something's really happened. I've got like $6,700 in my bank account. I was like, damn, she's fucking safe.
So I was curious about this. So apparently $6,700 in 1990 is the equivalent of about $13,300 today. Yeah.
Damn, inflation's that much?
Yeah, I think so.
Wow, that's crazy. That's a lot. Even 6,000 now.
Yo, yeah.
I mean, I don't know who's listening to this, but I don't have $6,000 in my savings account.
I mean, I don't either.
I probably owe that, but I don't think I like have it. It's just like, so she calls Jimmy to send money to Oklahoma City. They're going to Oklahoma City. They're trying to go to Mexico now. That's the plan because they've just shot a man.
Yeah.
And they can't go through Texas because that's where Louise used to live. And she's like, I think Thelma's like, hey, we should just go. Why don't we go through Texas? Like, why are we going around? We're going like up and around Texas. And she's like, I'm not going to Texas. Like, that's it. End of story. Like, we're not talking about it. So they can't go through Texas. So
well, she's also very vague about what happened in Texas. Like, you don't really ever find out, but it like seems bad.
Yeah, it's very bad. Like, if not almost similar to what's happened.
Yeah.
Like, it's something like involving like some kind of severe trauma.
Yeah.
And then as they're driving, that's when you first see JB, the fucking hitchhiker, Brad Pitt. And then I wrote, she wants to pick him up. And I was like, isn't that kind of weird? Like, I mean, I know hitchhiking hasn't really been a thing. I want to say, when did that stop becoming a thing in the States? Or was it ever that big of a thing?
I mean, we
don't know, I guess.
I don't know if it's like popular, but I think it's like something that people still do.
People don't do it now. Isn't it illegal?
I think in some states, like, I know that like if you're hiking the Appalachian Trail, like a lot of times, like, you know, you'll like send packages to like prearranged locations, and then in order to get there from like the trail to like the actual, you know, like post office, you have to like hitchhike, you know, from like the trail to, you know, into town. So I don't think that it's like unheard of now.
In that stretch, but like in major cities, it's kind of weird. But I guess if you're further out, like there is no way, like you would have to if you got left out. Yeah, like there's really like no other option. You walk until you can't, but you're trying to get a ride on the way.
Yeah.
So I love that you want to pick him up.
I just have a quick note. So after they talk to Jimmy and they get back in the car, probably one of my favorite lines of the movie is when is while they're driving towards Oklahoma City to get the money, is when they're in the car and Louise turns to Thelma and she says, Thelma, I'm going to Mexico. Now, I figure I can make it in about 2.5 days, but I'm going to have to haul ass. Are you up to this? I mean, I got to know this isn't a game. I'm in deep shit, and I got to figure out what you're going to do. And then you know, Thelma's like, I don't know. And then like whenever Louise turns to Thelma and says, God damn it, Thelma, I like always laugh.
Yeah. Is that when? Okay, that's not. There's another conversation. I think it might happen later when they find out the cops are on their trail, and I think she says like I just want to make sure we're both in this. Like, you won't turn on me. I think it's Thelma who's asking Louise, because Thelma is like robbed a bank at that point, or not bank, store, and like done that shit with the cop. And I think she's just like, wait, like we're both still in this, right? Because you could cut a deal. Yeah. And admit to stuff I've done to get yourself off, you know, whatever. So she's kind of like, are you in? So it's like the second time, but now she's asking her the first time. Louisa is like, this is my plan. Like, I'm the one that shot the guy. Like, I'm the one who's going to get in trouble. Like, are you still with me?
Yeah.
It's so funny. I love how they have this like really, I love their relationship too. Like, I just love their dynamic. It's really cool. And then I wrote, after they talked to Jimmy, I was like, oh, Brad Pitt. I was like, God. So then when they see Jimmy's like at the Western Union where she's supposed to meet to like pick up this money, and they're in like a motel. So they both get separate rooms. So like Thelma has her own room, and then Louise is there and Jimmy's there. So I really like the way that they shot this, like the juxtaposition of like, Louise in her room talking with Jimmy.
Yeah.
And then there's like Thelma, where like eventually Brad Pitt, like aka JD, I think it's JD or JB.
I think it's JD.
Okay. Like JD like knocks on the door of her room, because they're not far from where they saw him and everything. And they're like, he just knocks on the door and he's like, it's raining, I'm not gonna be able to get a ride out here. I was like, oh God. And they were like flirting in the car like the whole time.
Yeah.
She was like, no, we've got to like throw him back.
They were undressing each other with their eyes. Like,
we all are. I mean, like, we all were. The whole world was. That was literally Brad Pitt. Mm-hmm. Like, he was like, that's what people knew about him for so long, was that he was the guy in Thelma Louise.
Yeah.
And so so then I really love that whole dynamic of like when you see Louise and Jimmy and they're just talking about like, remember the first time we met, and then like he gives her that ring and then she's like, come on, like, and I like one line that Louise says to Jimmy. She says, we both got what we settled for.
Yeah.
I really like that line. And then of course I was like, I love that when JD talks about like, I'm a robber, and she's like, what? You're like, Thelma's like, what? You're a robber? And he's like, yep, I just do this. And he like does the whole like, this is what I tell him to do. This is how I get him to do whatever. And she's like, wow, this is so great. And then I wrote, JD says he's a robber. You in danger, girl. And why did she leave the money? Why did she leave the money with Thelma? Why didn't Louise? Okay, so Louise has this like whole envelope of money that Jimmy's given to her. Why does Louise give it to Thelma?
I mean, my guess is she thought it would be fine.
Well, yeah, she didn't know JD was there.
And I mean, that was their room. Like, I think that like they were staying together and like.
And he got the extra one. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so she just went with him. And then I wrote, JD says he's a robber. You in danger, girl. And then I said, just thought about this. Now they would find you so quickly.
I know.
Like if you were on the run, like this is what, day 2? It's only like a 3-day trip.
Yeah, I think so.
Whole thing. Yeah, it's pretty short. And then of course you get like the iconic, like fucking Brad Pitt, Thelma Louise, like sex scene, crazy shit. Yeah.
So my first thought was after watching the scene that the scenes that like they make while having sex are the same scenes that I make while eating eggs Benedict.
Oh my god, we haven't had eggs Benedict in so long.
Oh my god, it's been forever.
It's literally been like 8 months.
I know.
I can't even. This is not a real problem, but this is yet again a problem that it's all we look forward to.
Yeah.
Even pre-COVID, we're like, I hate this. At least we're gonna get eggs Benedict on the weekend at some point. So whatever. He's a natural.
Yeah.
Petition for Brad Pitt to have an OnlyFans. Like that would be so funny. I love how OnlyFans is blowing up and all these celebrities are like doing like nude shoots just to like make some extra cash. It's like Aaron Carter's on OnlyFans. Like, oh my god.
Well, that's good.
No.
Okay.
No. It's disturbing. It's really disturbing. And lots of like B, C, Z list reality stars, basically. And lots of other people who like do amazing sex work as their job. Like fucking A, go for it.
Yeah.
Like I could never do it. If only I could. I mean I probably would. But I just wrote, this is another one of my favorite scenes is morning after when you see Jimmy and Louise. I like this whole thing where like Jimmy and Louise are talking and they're very much like
they're kind of saying their goodbyes. Like I mean, it's like I don't know. It's like not sad, but it's not like happy. You know, they're just kind of like saying let's check in at some point.
Like you got the money, so wish I didn't ask what you did, but like wish you on your way. And she's been really good. Like Louise has not said anything to anyone like what's going on. So then he leaves. He's like, I'm getting my taxi, I'm leaving. And they're in Oklahoma now?
Yes.
Yeah. So then this is my favorite is when like, rushing in like she's fucking like discovered fire. Like she's like on one. She's just like, hey, oh my god, you'll never guess what happened. And then she's like, what's going on? And then she's like, JD. And she's like, oh, no way, oh my god, I'm so happy. I was like, I love how at first she was just like, no. It was definitely like, I love when she made that face where she was like a puppy, like, can we take him? like when they picked him up in the car before. And then she's like, what happened? And then she's like, oh my god, I finally know what everyone's talking about. I feel like I'm enjoying the living. And then she's like, oh my god, I'm so excited for you. Like,
oh my god, you finally got laid properly.
Yeah, I know. Thank God. I was like, ooh, burn for the ex-boyfriend. that was her playing her husband. And then she's like, so we're like, what happened? Like, what's gonna happen now? And she's like, I don't know. Like, well, where is he? Oh, he's still in the room. He's taking a shower. Oh my god. And then she's like, where's the money? And she's like, it's in the room. And she's like, you left him alone in the room with that money? Are you crazy? He's not going to do anything. He's taking a shower. Fast forward 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Guess what? He fucking robbed him. He told you a story about how he robs people. But Thelma was dickmatized. So she did not know anything that was going on. And fucking rightly so. That was a pretty expensive lay she had there. But I think she kind of got her money's worth. Like,
I mean, I'm sure $6,700 is for a night with Brad Pitt is like on the cheaper side. So.
That was like a hit of Speed. I mean, or like some type of like some life-changing shit. Like that was like kind of like DMT, like see God shit. Because she's now like on one.
Yeah,
she's like, oh, fuck, we don't have any money.
She has just taken ayahuasca and has seen the light.
She has totally seen the light, and I would totally turn into Louise, catatonic on the fucking hotel room floor, being like,
yeah,
what are we gonna do?
Well, I think that up until this point, Louise has been kind of hanging on and like, just being, okay, I did this one bad thing, but we have the money, we like have a chance. And, and then as soon as the money's gone, she like any fight in her is just gone.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
what are you gonna do? I mean, now it's like, it's so, you can't call, there's no one else to call to like, because everyone's gonna know eventually like where they are.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh fuck, what are we gonna do? And they're like, come on, and Thelma's like, come on, Louise, like we gotta go, we gotta keep going. And she's like now the opposite. She's like now the Louise of what it was like a day before when like I keep wanting to call her Gina, when Thelma was totally catatonic after what happened, and she was like, we gotta keep going, we just gotta go. So now she's like, they're on the run and they like pull over at a gas station. Thelma just like runs out. She's like, what's going on? She's like, drive the car. They speed off. And she's like, what the fuck's going on? What are you doing? And then she like pulls out all that money and she's like, I just robbed the convenience store.
You robbed the goddamn store?
Yeah. And she's like, what? Oh my God, this is crazy. Then they show the cops like watching the tape. Just those amazing moments. And she literally uses like JD's lines of like what she says when he says when he robs people.
Yeah.
Just like, everyone's gonna be all right. This is just a robbery. And they're like watching it, and the one guy's like eating a hamburger. So like, I can't believe this woman is doing this. And she's like, put the money in the bag. Thank you. If you like pay attention to my rules, you will you'll be just fine. Otherwise, you'll be wearing a toe tag. Like, I was like, oh my God. So she's like now essentially like, I love that.
Yeah,
that
I do.
I think it's so great.
Have you ever been arrested?
No.
Me either. I was gonna say,
have you?
I was in a car.
You're like, yeah.
I don't know. I was in a car once, and like I was in the back seat, and
I've been in a car, yeah.
And like there was and like
I'm talking about like booked. I've never been booked.
Oh yeah, same. No, I was in the back seat of a car once, and the driver was like rolling a blunt in her lap, and like,
oh shit.
And like two police officers came up along both sides of the car and shined their light through the window, and like we all got like totally busted.
How many were you?
It was me and 3 other people.
Oh wow.
And we like got pulled out of the car, and they told me to put my hands on the hood, and they like frisked me. And like, fortunately, the only thing I had physically on me was like a pack of cigarettes.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Like, I didn't have any ID. And then they like told me and my friend who I was with to like go sit down on the curb. And like, we sat there for about 20 minutes, and then they told us that we could go.
So what happened to the driver?
I don't know.
You don't know? Wait, were you friends with him?
No, not really.
Oh, okay. Off air, I want to know who that is.
Okay.
But I'm like, who? Like, who? I'm trying to think of like who it was. Were you in high school?
I was in college.
Oh, college. Oh, was it in North Carolina?
Yeah.
Oh shit. Oh, never mind. I might not know who it is then. I thought it was here. Oh, crazy. Okay. So now JD's arrested.
Yeah.
And how does he get arrested? Do you know what he does? Like, why they get him?
I don't think they say.
Yeah, I know we just see him in the station and they're like, why do you have $6,600 on you? I was like, oh, burn.
Yeah.
And then they kind of piece it together that then I think they find out about the store and they're like, wait a minute. So if you never stole that money, then they wouldn't have had to rob a store to get away. So now they're kind of like hot on the tail and they're just like, and then I wrote, God, they should have just gone to Canada. Like, I feel like driving north would have been like way more, I don't know. There's something about like the desert and like people like trying to hide out in Mexico. You could hide out in Canada, I think, a lot easier.
Oh, really? Okay.
I think so. I feel like the border, I don't know. I just feel like it would be easier. But I know they were in Arkansas, so they are closer to Mexico. Like I get it. It's way closer. But I probably would have gone Canada because I thought like I would just think it would be a bit more of like a chiller route. Because it's just kind of like, you know, it's cold. It's like kind of flat, like whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I get why they went up there. But I was like, they should have gone to Canada. And then you get that one of the most iconic scenes in cinema. It was when they're driving in the desert, like late at night. It's so pretty in the desert at night, and they're listening to that Marianne Faithfull song.
Oh yeah.
Or not listening to it, but it's playing, and like the Ballad of Lucy Jordan. Iconic song.
Oh yeah. So me and this song have a long hit.
Yeah, what is your history with this?
So I bought the soundtrack to this movie when I was about 15, and then my parents sent me away to boarding school. This
explains a lot about Charles at 15, that he's like jamming the like Thelma Louise soundtrack under Discman.
And so we had to play this stupid game one night where we had to like pick a song that like meant something to us and like play it for like the rest of the people in our
This dorm. Is at boarding school.
Yeah. And so like and
Charles, no.
and so the songs that came before me were like, you know, some edited version of like a Busta Rhymes song.
Wait, because you couldn't have like explicit lyrics, right?
Yeah, no, like you know, like you couldn't have any like parental advisory CDs. So, like, you know,
sounds like a Christian conversion camp.
I mean,
like borderline was, but like not conversion.
It had a lot of qualities.
Yeah.
Okay. And so people were playing, you know, like a Busta Rhymes song, and like one guy played All Along the Watchtower by Jimi Hendrix, and one guy played a song by Heart, and I was like, oh, I never would have expected you to play Song by Heart, and you surprised me, so that's kind of cool. And then, you know, like one guy played like that song like Rocky like a Hurricane by the Scorpions.
Oh, yeah.
And then it was my turn. And so I played the Ballad of Lucy Jordan, which is about a disillusioned housewife who I think ends up like committing suicide. And and the reactions I got, people were just kind of, they seemed very uncomfortable, and like
was there a lip sync included with this performance? Was everyone just like sitting quietly in a circle, like slowly judging everyone for their song choices?
And you know, like, I mean, I understand why I chose the songs, because it's about a wife who longs to escape her life, and I wanted to escape boarding school. So like
intros to Return or Adventures of Priscilla. Never to me.
Okay, and so then later in college, so one of my favorite things to do to relieve stress was, so we had some woods attached to my college.
It's about to get weird.
It's about to get really weird. And so most people, normal people, went down to the woods to smoke pot at night. But what I like to do was like put a bunch of CDs in my pocket, grab my Discman, go down into the woods, and scream Guns N' Roses at the top of my lungs.
So fucking epic.
And like, no, I'm telling you, it sounds insane, but I like always felt so good afterwards. And like,
amazing.
And and you know, there were a couple awkward moments when
I never see you.
When like, you know, there was like people coming down the path, and it was like completely dark, and I didn't know what to do, so I just hissed like a velociraptor and like ran off into the darkness.
No one could see you, or they saw you.
I mean, I think they saw a shadowy shape, like, you know, gosh, and then like sprint off.
Oh my god!
And so that you know that created some problems. But I'm telling you, singing this song and at the top of your lungs at like 12:30 at night in the middle of the woods is like very therapeutic.
I mean, it kind of sounds amazing, and I kind of want to do this.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it works. Like,
Wow, that is. I was gonna say I would assume that you would pick a Welcome to the Jungle.
oh well, I mean, I didn't just choose one song. I mean, I like you know grabbed some Alanis, I grabbed some GNR, I grabbed some Marilyn Manson. I like you know.
They like have Marilyn Manson there. Oh no, I'm talking about the school at boarding school.
Oh, no. Like, I'm trying to think. Like, at boarding school, my like CD collection was like this soundtrack and like Janis Joplin and like you know
That's
like
the only thing they would allow, because everything else they would be like, this has swear words.
yeah. I don't want to toot my own horn, but compared to those other people, my music taste was very sophisticated. So, like,
I mean, totally, yeah. I mean, God, I don't even. You know what your roommate played? The one who like went to jail for like bank robbery?
yeah, he was when he played the Busta Rhymes song.
Oh,
I mean, and granted,
edited one too.
yeah, and granted, I really like him, but or I like the song, but it's just you know. Oh, and he also was really into like the Insane Clown Posse for some reason. So,
Oh no. Oh God, I can't. I don't know. I've never been in a ICP.
it kind of had a very like white supremacy vibe to it.
But I think it's the opposite, though. I think
okay.
actually not that. I mean, I think it has that imagery. Like, it's definitely kind of weird. But I feel like they're called like juggalos or something. There's like a whole thing.
Are juggalos like Mexican gangsters? Is that
No, Juggalo is a fan of the group ICP or any other psychopathic records hip hop group.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's literally just based on this fucking band and like all this other shit. But I don't know. I think there's some of them are bad. Like I think there's a criminal group that's like come off of that.
Okay.
But oh yeah, definitely. Oh, okay, yeah, definitely connected to white supremacy. Fuck that.
Oh.
So yeah, okay. They've been recognized by the FBI. Like, yeah, fuck that. No, juggalos are fucking whack. This is probably why I was never into the shit, and that explains a lot about your bank robbing roommate. And then, okay, so after we get that amazing rendition, I don't have a long history with the song, but I do remember it being used in the finale of American Horror Story Hotel. It's a great scene. It's a really great scene.
Yeah.
Where they use it. And then we find out, well, not we find out, but that is, I believe, when Thelma's like, look, why did we not go to Texas? Like, I don't understand. Like, you know, like I just, you know, we just should have gone through there, blah, blah, blah. And then she kind of like silently kind of has this, she's like, something happened to you in Texas too. Like you were raped too, weren't you? And then Louise is just like, I'm not ever talking about that. Like, that's it.
Yeah.
Like she doesn't confirm or deny it, but it's definitely something like very traumatic. So we kind of find out that like they have even more in common, and that's probably why she had such a visceral reaction.
Yeah.
Like what happened.
Do you have any ideas about what happened to Louise in Texas?
Do I have any ideas? I believe that she was definitely assaulted, I think. And it could have even been someone like in her own family.
Yeah.
I mean, it could have been like even darker than just like a random man in a bar or like an ex-boyfriend. It could have been someone that was like in her family or something.
Yeah, because there is that line like earlier on in the movie when Thelma's like, why can't we go through Texas? And Louise is like, listen, if you shoot a man in the head with his pants down, Texas is not the place you want to get caught.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I like sort of got the impression that like she was like raped and then she tried to report it and just no one believed her.
So that if she comes back, all the people that she accused that guy, like all those people on his side, would find her and be like, "You're the one that accused blah 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 of like get her."
Yeah,
like, yeah, totally. So it's the next day, and they're in the desert still. I believe they're in New Mexico.
Yeah,
that's when they get pulled over by that fucking cop.
Oh wait, before we get into that, it is worth noting that there is a truck driver that they've been kind of passing by on and off throughout the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever they pass, he just like makes these extremely obscene gestures and like wags his tongue back and forth and just like, and
If you're a girl, you know what this is.
yeah, so they see him for a second time just after the Ballad of Lucy Jordan montage, and
Mm-hmm.
he has a line that is what he's doing is not cool, but he has a line that makes me laugh when he says, "I'm your stormtrooper of love."
Oh my god.
Like,
And doesn't he say like, "Are you ready for this dick?"
yeah, like it's so
Fuck.
gross, but
I was
like,
like, God. I was like, women putting up with men since forever. Like, God.
yeah,
It's like, geez. But yeah, I don't know if it's before or after this when they get pulled over.
I think it's after.
It's after. Okay.
Yeah.
So they've seen that guy again. So then they're riding through and they're in like the desert. They're in like, I think they're filmed this in Utah and California. So
Okay.
I think it's like Moab or something, like where they like those red rock formations and stuff.
Mhm.
So they're out there and then they get pulled over by this cop who's Jason Baggy, which is really funny. He's on like one of those Chicago shows, like Chicago PD or something. He used to be a Scientologist. That's why I know him, because he's in that Scientology documentary. Like he was deep into it and he left a few years ago.
Okay.
We were talking about it, but that's who that is.
Oh, so he is also in another Ridley Scott movie called G.I. Jane, which I like a lot too. But yeah, anyway.
Okay. Oh, cool. I haven't seen G.I. Jane in like a long time. Like I've seen it once, but I definitely have to see it again.
Yeah, it's good. I like it.
Let's see. Uh, then I was like, the cops pull them over. Oh my God, this escalated. When the cop pulls them over and then they're trying to like kind of sweet talk their way out of this ticket. Louise gets taken out of the car, put in the front seat of the cop car, and he's like running her license. And she's like, oh my God, please just don't let me get caught. And then fucking Thelma strolls up to the driver's side, gun in the neck of the cop, and is like, you heard me. Let her go. I was like, oh fuck.
She is just so casual about it too. Like, I mean,
so casual. She knows exactly what to say. Put your hands up there. Take his gun. Don't look at me. Like she literally knows everything to do. Like she's been doing it before.
Yeah.
Like she doesn't even stutter. And I was like, what the fuck? Like she's just like, do this, do that, do this. So she's never like, oh, what do I do now? Then she's like walking him back to the car. He is scared shitless. Louise is taking his gun, and then they're standing by the back of the car, and I love how she shoots those 2 bullets in the top of the car, and I was like, what's she doing? And then she like tells him to get in the trunk.
Mm-hmm.
Get in the trunk, and he's like, oh my God, but and then Louise is just like, oh, can I have your belt too? Ammo.
Yeah.
Extra ammo for that gun.
Yeah, and then I like how they also take his beer.
Yeah, in the back seat, they like take his beer. I was like, oh my God, this is so funny. And I love also that scene later on where like there's that biker who's like smoking that joint.
Yeah.
Like here's like randomly out in the desert, like sees this cop car and he's like, what the fuck? And then he like hears this like banging, like, hey, is someone out there? Like, let me out. I'm a police officer. And he just blows the smoke through that hole. Of the fucking cop car. I was like, oh my God, this is so funny.
So I guess he gets let out eventually, or does the guy get back on his bike and keep going?
Yeah, I think the guy got back on his bike because he was kind of like chilling and he was like, oh, it's a cop, fuck that.
Yeah.
He was like, whatever. But I don't know, like, wouldn't he die out there in the desert?
I mean,
those air holes.
I mean, he does have air holes, but I mean, I imagine that desert gets up to like 100 degrees during the day.
At least, and in a car.
Yeah.
Like, no. Like, you're cooked. Your brain would be cooked.
Okay, so this counts as kidnapping, right?
Yeah, I think it might be like it might be kidnapping, but it's not kidnapping in the form of like you have the person with you. Okay. Because I think it's almost like you've like put them away somewhere, like held them against their will. Okay. I guess like it probably would be like if it's a cop, they would probably make it like attempted murder. Oh, okay. Okay. Because like he would die. I mean, presumably, right? Yeah. Like if in a deserted road, like they're assuming that it's going to be a long time before somebody comes and gets him. I would think they shot the fucking radio out. Like, shoot the radio. I was like, damn.
Oh,
She could have just put him in the trunk. Like,
yeah, and then I like love how like Thelma tells Louise to shoot the radio, and she shoots the actual radio, and then that one's like, "No, Louise, the police radio, for Christ's sake!"
I know. Like, come on. It's so funny. And then we see the trucker a fucking again.
Yeah,
and they're like, oh my god, like this is crazy, and they're like,
oh, so there is a scene between Harvey Keitel's character and the FBI person that I like, and it's when the FBI person says, the one thing I can't figure out is if these girls are real smart or just real lucky. And then Harvey Keitel says, it does not matter because brains will only get you so far and luck always runs out.
Oh wow, that's a good one.
Yeah,
that's a good one. So they see that trucker again from the third time.
Yes,
and like.
Yeah, and at this point, everything they've done has been kind of out of necessity.
Yeah.
But like at this point, they're just like, well, let's have some fun, you know?
Yeah, they're like, this fucking asshole.
Yeah.
He's driving, like, come on, this is so crazy. And and then they signal for him to like go off the road. They're like,
yeah,
come off the road. So he's like, oh, hot damn, like, woohoo, I'm gonna get with these two women. And then he like comes over, and then he's just like so fucking funny and dumb as fuck.
Yeah, like his character is so sleazy, but I just can't help but laugh. Like,
I know, it's so bad. Like, it's just so funny though.
Yeah.
Like, it's really, really funny. So they're just like, you need to give us an apology. Running around, making those obscene gestures to women. What do you expect? Like, you better offer an apology. He's like, I'm not offering nothing.
Yeah, and then Louise pulls out her gun and points at him and says, you say you're sorry, or I'm gonna make you fucking sorry.
Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
And then he's like, okay, I'm sorry. And then he doesn't say I'm sorry, but she shoots out the tires.
Yeah.
She shoots out like 3 of those big ass truck tires. I was like, oh shit. And then fucking Thelma has her gun in like the back of her pants. And then they both pull their guns out and they're like, look, you better say you're sorry. And he's like, I'm not doing it. This is crazy. And then they fucking shoot his fuel tank. He's like a giant fuel truck. And they like shoot it and it just like explodes in midair, like just like totally insane, like Die Hard explosion, like fucking crazy. I was like, holy shit, this is nuts. And then I love how they get back in the car, and then the trucker's like outside, like screaming, like, oh my god, and they just circle him, like kick up dust, and then like run off.
Yeah, I like love how they circle him. He's like screaming like, oh, you bitches from hell. And and then Thelma like leans down, like grabs his hat that's like fallen on the ground.
Oh yeah.
And just like speeds off. Like,
yeah. So fucking dope. And at this point, they are like hot on their trail because, like I mentioned earlier, like she called. I forgot another tidbit is that she called when I think it's Thelma, when Thelma called her husband and found out that he knew by the way he answered, because he was like, hi, and then she like hung up and she was like, oh my god, blah blah blah, like this is fucking crazy. And then she called, I think Louise calls Jimmy.
No, I think Louise calls Slocum again.
Oh, that's right. She calls it. Yeah, she's like, I want to talk to the cop. I know the cops are there.
Yeah.
Like, give me the cops. And then they're like, I think it's like Harvey Keitel. And he's like, look, like all this kind of shit. Like, you guys better give it up. And like, you're not going to be able to get to Mexico. And then she hangs up. And then she's like, fuck, how the fuck do they know we're going to Mexico? And then she's like, you fucking told that guy. So she told JD, and she's like, we had 2 things going for us. 1, that no one knew where we were, and 2, no one knew where we were going. Now we don't even have that. Like, what are we gonna do? Like, they're gonna find us now if they know we're going to Mexico. Like, this is crazy. So at this point, they've like triangulated them. They've got on a call at some payphone. I think it must be in like Arizona. Or maybe, it must have been Arizona. So they like triangulated the call, like they traced it. And now they're like after them. So then like when you see them again, like you see more and more cops. And it's just like this insane chase. Yeah. They're like 30 cop cars after them.
Yeah.
Like, they're everywhere. They're on the road at first, and they see the cops, and they U-turn, and they go off the road. Then it's like this really insane chase.
Yeah.
Like Louise is a driver. Like,
Lu-
apparently they took driving lessons for this too.
Louise is a pretty badass driver, and like there's also a scene earlier in the movie when they're at like a diner or a gas station or something, and she just like puts the car in reverse and drives for like 200 feet, like in reverse.
Yeah,
like
if anyone's driven in reverse really fast, it's really fucking hard to do.
Yeah,
like, it's really hard to do, and I don't even know about a car that old because they don't have like power steering and shit. Like maybe it could be like totally different, but yeah, that was pretty nuts too.
Yeah,
awesome thing. And then I was like, oh my gosh, the cops are hot on their trail. It's like they reached the Grand Canyon in Arizona, and then you kind of have like the most insane ending climax of a film.
Yeah,
where they're just like, come on, like, what are we gonna do? Like, I'm not going to jail. Like, and I think Louise even said that to the cop last time she talked to him. She was like, I'm not going to jail. Like, I just keep hearing like incarcerated and life imprisonment and no parole and all this. She's like, I'm not.
I think that's like, I think that conversation is when Louise and Thelma kind of both decide that they would rather die than, get taken in.
Yeah, totally.
Because I think shortly after that is when Thelma confronts Louise, and she's like, look, you're not going to make a deal with that guy, right? Like, we're still in this, right? So, I mean,
she wants to make sure she's not going to like give up.
Yeah.
She's like, we're not going to give up. We're never going to give up. And then that's when they're like, does she say like, listen, I'm not going in? Or like, what does she say? Like, listen, I'm not getting caught.
Yeah, I can't remember the line off the top of my head, but
it's got like the most epic, like she's like, they're speeding up, and then like all the cops, like the fucking helicopter like comes out from under the canyon, and there's like 30 cars behind him, and Harvey Keitel the whole time is like, no, because it's like federal now, like through like 3 states or 4 states. 3, I guess, or 4, because they're in Arizona. So now, like, he's like, no, you got to let me talk to him. Like, don't just shoot them. And they're kind of like, fuck it. We're doing whatever the hell we're going to do. Like, if they have guns, like, they're armed and dangerous. And he's like, no, I got to talk to them. And then that's when they like decide, and he's like running after them. Like, he's like, you see him like running, and then you just see them like take off.
Yeah.
And they like do that whole like hold the hands. And then it gets me every time.
Yeah. Oh, so I heard that one of the ideas that the director had for this final scene is when they're driving towards the Grand Canyon, that Louise was going to push Thelma out of the car so that so that Thelma could live, and then she was going to keep going.
Really?
Yeah. But
why would Louise do that though?
I think because she didn't want Thelma to like die. I think that like she wanted her to like live. But I mean, the way that they ended up doing it, I just thought this ending was like perfect.
Yeah, I definitely like it.
Yeah,
like how it is now. So yeah, that's the and I love how it fades to white.
Mm-hmm.
And like that's it. Like it's so good. So it's such a great film. I definitely suggest checking it out, and I'm sure it's on some type of like streaming service. But yeah, if you haven't watched it, which you probably have if you're listening to this, but it's cool. Let's see. Do you have any fashion notes?
Well, there isn't a lot just because it's
like everything.
I mean, I don't know, but like I just sort of love like their like final like chasing outfits, like when Thelma's like in like the t-shirt with like the cut off sleeves, and she's wearing that guy's like trucker hat.
Yeah,
like, and like Louise is in like that short sleeve tank top, and like she's wearing the like cowboy hat.
That's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Super cool. I also really love Louise's jewelry. She has like lots of rings on.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, and I love that like turquoise necklace she has on.
Mm-hmm.
At some point, Louise has like a really cool turquoise necklace.
Yeah.
Let's see. What do I have? I have like, I love the outfit when Louise calls Jimmy and her hair is up and she has those really cool sunglasses.
Yeah, that was cool.
Like a plain shirt. I love her. I love the white tank and like the tucked in jeans that she has in the end.
Mm-hmm.
And then the beginning is really cool where they both have like those scarves.
Yeah.
And then when they take the picture, like that's really cool. Thelma has dope outfits. Like I love her outfit at the pool hall or like the beginning with the white dress. It's just like really cool.
Well, it's a white dress, and then she's wearing like a jean jacket over it, right?
Yeah. Then later she like adds a jean jacket. Then I love when she has Brad Pitt shirt on, and then she keeps it, but she keeps changing it. Like she ties it like up at one point, and then she cuts the sleeves off.
Yeah.
I think later, like I love how it just keeps changing, and then she wears like the denim on denim, and then she has like the denim jacket with like the bikini top underneath. Because I love when Louise pulls up and Thelma's like at the pool, like of the motel they're staying in, and she's wearing that really cool like 80s bikini, and then she's like, "Get in the car!" And she like drags her like suitcase and throws it in the car and just like hops over in her bathing suit.
Yeah.
Later she like puts on like I think she puts a jacket over the top, and then she puts on like other pants or something.
Oh, okay.
It's really cool. I really like that. And I also love that when she calls, I forgot who Thelma's calling, but she has on like a black, it looks like a cowboy shirt, like the men's ones, but it's like a crop jacket with like embroidery on it.
Okay.
Really cool. It's like a cropped Western kind of jacket.
I think the only person she calls in the movie is like her husband.
Her husband, yeah. It must be the first time. No, I think it's the time that she called at like 4 a.m. and he wasn't there.
Oh, okay.
Or like when she called him and I think he didn't answer. Or maybe it wasn't 4 a.m, but she did say one time she called at 4 a.m. and he wasn't there. So she was like, I don't think he cares.
Yeah.
Where I am, he's not even home. But she did call him one time and he wasn't home. And I think that's what she was wearing because she was standing in like a phone booth. It was really cool. Let's see. Do you have any other fashion notes?
No, I don't think so.
It's pretty much like everything. It's just really fucking cool.
Yeah.
I love the music.
Yeah, I love the music, and I also really like the like pairs of sunglasses that they're both wearing at the beginning. And I think like eventually Louise kind of steals the police officer's sunglasses and like
asks him. She's like, "Can we swap?" And then he just gives him her like aviators.
Yeah.
Aviators on those like narc shades. It's really funny. Yeah, dude, the music awesome. I wrote such a southern vibe. The score is really good by Hans Zimmer.
That the original score for this movie is so great. Like
so good. Yeah, it's so good. And they have like Tammy Wynette, Temptations, Marianne Faithfull, Charlie Sexton, B.B. King.
Yeah. And I believe that Charlie Sexton played himself in one of the scenes.
Oh, no way. Was he in the band?
Yeah, he was
playing at the pool.
Yeah,
hall?
yeah.
Oh, cool. Or not? It's not a pool hall. I don't want to say pool hall. It's like they do like country line dancing because they were line dancing later.
Yeah,
in that bar. It's like a bar, I guess. Yeah, I don't know why I think it's a pool hall, but it's not. It's just super cool. I have. I'll get to quotes and scenes. I have only one '90s moment. I guess I have two. But the one that I have written down was like when Louise gives Thelma the map and she's like, find a secondary way to get to Mexico. Yeah. And she like gives her that big map. And I was like, that's super 90s. And then now I'm thinking when the FBI was like looking for them and like tracing the call and how they had to be on so long. Like back in the day, it took so long to trace a call, but now it's probably like now they can ping you from where your phone is even calling. But
also I heard that that's kind of an FBI that's kind of a movie myth. Like, I mean, because
time.
Yeah, like I mean that you have to keep them online for 45 seconds. Apparently, they can just like trace you like that. So
even back in the day.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh shit! Oh yeah. Wow, that's probably good to know because now people who wanted to commit a crime watching a movie are probably like, "Oh, good, we have like 30 seconds."
Yeah,
like I've seen it in movies where it's like, no, they can still trace you.
Yeah.
Those are my 90s moments. I don't know if did you have any?
Well, there are phones with cords, so there's that. And then in the beginning, there's like Thelma has a very, very old television in her kitchen that like has the dials. And
definitely.
Also I think with I don't think the story would work today just because cell phones and social media I think would cut. I feel like they would get caught like so much faster.
So much faster, and everyone has cell phones. So like someone would upload a photo of them somewhere and be like, "Is this them?"
Yeah.
And, like text it to the cops or like someone, and they're like, "Yep, thank you. We can tell where you were from when you took that picture." Like,
yeah.
There's all that data like in the photo. It's true, yeah. That was one of my story notes. I was like, wow, people have to really think now in order to not get caught and to not be on the grid.
Yeah.
Like you'd have to use cash everywhere. But back then, like I'm assuming they used cash to rent those motel rooms, but now I don't think you can.
Oh,
I think
really? Okay.
well, no, I mean, I guess it actually depends, I'm sure. It probably depends on where you go. Like if you were to go somewhere, like like if you were on the run, like for real on the run, you wouldn't go to like a Holiday Inn. Like I'm
Yeah.
assuming you'd probably go to like Tony's monthly motel where you can pay in cash and they don't ask for an ID.
Yeah.
You know, like you can just go rent the room. Like, I mean, that's probably where you would be if you were like trying to elude capture.
Yeah.
But even now they have cameras fucking everywhere. Even if you were to go to a gas station and you're gonna pay cash, you have to go in and
Yeah.
like they could eventually see, you know, like they could be watching the news and then see, you know, see that you're there or like there's cameras in there. Like, yeah, there's it just would take it depends on where you are. If you're from, I think, a rural area, then you might be able to live off the grid for a lot longer than someone who's from a city because you like kind of know how to get around.
Yeah.
You could live off the land probably for a while until you figured out like where to go. But if you're in a city, like you're used to going to shops and seeing people in like stores and like, you know, it's just kind of crazy. What are some of your favorite do you have any more 90s moments?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, so let's wrap it up with your favorite quotes and scenes. I've added it into one section now.
Oh, favorite quotes.
Yeah, what are your favorite quotes?
So I love okay. So after Louise like rescues Thelma from the rapist, the way she delivers this line is just like so heartbreaking and just like so impactful. But like when she says in the future, when a woman's crying like that, she isn't having any fun.
Oh yeah.
And then I like love when Slocum is like talking to the waitress, and she's like, neither one of those two is the murdering type, Hal. And then I love in the hotel room when Brad Pitt is giving a tutorial about how to commit armed robbery. How
it's so endearing.
How he's like, I believe if done properly, an armed robbery doesn't have to be a totally unpleasant experience. And then I love and then in the scene when like Harvey Keitel's character is explaining the situation to Thelma's husband, how he just kind of laughs and says, "Excuse me, sir, but you're standing in your pizza."
Oh yeah. That's so funny.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, you have a lot of good ones. I only have when Louise was talking to Jimmy in that hotel room when she said we both got what we settled for.
Yeah.
That one's really good. I like when I think it's Louise tells Thelma, we're fugitives now, we gotta act like it.
Yeah, that was a good
because like you're telling people everywhere. And then I just like the end. I think the like last line of the movie is keep driving.
Yeah.
Like, that's like all she says. Yeah, those are my favorite quotes. What are your favorite scenes?
Oh, and then I just have one more favorite quote. And again, that's when ever Louise goes, "God damn it, Thelma."
I also like when Louise like puts the gun up to the rapist's like face, and she's like, "Now, like, you better get off her before you make me splatter you all over this nice car." I was like, "Oh my god." That's so creepy.
Yeah.
What are your favorite scenes?
Favorite scenes? Well, I love the bank, or I love when Thelma robs the store.
Yeah, I know. I love the video.
Yeah. I that like final chase scene towards the end is like so intense. Like I think for the last 20 minutes of the movie, I like forgot to take notes just because I was like so absorbed in like the story.
Yeah, same.
And again, just like that final shot is just like so awesome.
I just wrote the final moments. That's one of mine. It's like the last like 20 minutes of the film are just so good.
Yeah,
it's just so good. Now, did you like? A lot of people, I think, were kind of torn on the ending. Like, did you like the ending?
Yes, because I heard that there's an alternative ending that where it doesn't stop at a freeze frame. Like the car keeps going, and you kind of see it like fall over like, you know, the like side of the cliff, and it like keeps falling. And I don't know, like, I don't know. I just, you know, I mean, it just seemed like such a victorious and like joyous moment. And
Mhm.
you know, like they were outlaws and they chose to die free. And it's just, I don't know,
Yeah.
it's just like so, you know, fun, you know, and
Yeah.
good. So
I like it too. I think it has more of an impact that like I think it means more that it's not like glamorizing. It's not like it's Bonnie and Clyde
yeah.
where they were like just kind of like pulling shit,
Mhm.
like just like they were kind of just out of control. And it's not like some kind of like they weren't like serial killers, you know, they weren't like on some weird shit. Like they, like you said, like they were doing all of it for survival, like
Yeah.
all of it. Like even the cop being locked in the back of in the trunk is like it was survival. You know, they didn't want to get caught.
Yeah.
They knew that like he would know who they were. He's a
Well,
police officer.
and I mean, like, say they did turn themselves in. I mean, I still think that like they both get charged with like first degree murder.
Oh, totally.
Like, I mean, I think there's a good chance they get sentenced to death. And
Yeah, because she said like electric chair. Like when she was talking, she was like, "I don't want to." I've been thinking all these words like life imprisonment, death by electric chair, like you know, death penalty. Like no, especially in the South.
yeah,
Like
exactly.
that's kind of like a real concern or like a real possibility.
And I mean, just being able to like choose how you die on your own terms, I think that's like basically the last bit of power that they
Yeah,
had. And
yeah.
you know, like, I don't know, it was good.
It was just like this insane like female bonding, you know, like it was just this insane trip of like even though they didn't know everything about each other, like it just
Mhm.
felt like they did. Like they went through so much together
Yeah,
that kind of seemed like their only like they and this was several days. This
yeah,
wasn't even like a week. I mean, this literally happened if you think about it, it's happened so fast.
yeah. So I think that like Louise shot that guy on Friday night, and they drove into the Grand Canyon on like sometime on Monday.
Damn,
So yeah, I
that's insane. That's like a weekend.
yeah.
Like a weekend bender. That's insane. Um, yeah, what are your okay, what do you have any other favorite scenes?
I don't think so. And this is kind of a cop out, but I mean, the entire movie, you know, like, I
Yeah,
mean, there,
it's all really
you
good.
know, I don't know. It's just, I don't know. It's just done so well, and I don't know. I love this movie.
It's so great. I have some more favorite scenes. The day after in the diner, the morning after when Louise is talking to, or no, when Thelma's talking to Louise about how amazing her sex with Brad Pitt was. I love that. And I also love, yeah, when Thelma robbed the store. And then I also have like Thelma locking the cop in the trunk. Like those were mine. Yeah. Like, yeah. And then I just wrote the final moments because it's just so good.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Oh my God, that was so
yeah.
exciting.
That was good.
Oh, I hope everyone enjoyed this episode. I forgot again, but fucking like and subscribe and give us 5 stars. And I don't know what we're gonna do next, but it's gonna be something fun. I don't know. Since I'm actually gonna see you tomorrow, maybe we can talk about it in
Okay, that sounds
real life.
that sounds great.
Yeah, which would be really cool. But yeah, this was super fun, and we'll see you on the next one.
Bye.
Bye.